Okay, and I want to introduce Mike Keys. He is the vice chair of the Gold Medal Committee this year. And so part of the vice chair responsibility is to lead the education session. So I got to tag out to him this year. So, Mike, you want to get started and introduce our speakers?
I sure will. Thank you, Stacy. And I'm very excited to be here today. And I want to welcome everybody. As Stacy said, I'm the vice chair here for the Gold Medal Committee. And like maybe some of you, I am a three-time finalist and a Grand Plaque recipient. So I'm very excited today to be here. I hope you are too. We've got a great group across the country. As Jane said, this is a nice large group. We're excited, and we appreciate you joining us today. A couple housekeeping things before we get started. Number one,
Mm. Yeah.
Michael, you've muted yourself.
I think I did that.
Oh.
Oh, Jane, I thought I did it. I'm glad it might have been you.
I'm so sorry.
We're going through trying to mute everyone. So
Mike, you're still muted. Sorry, unmute yourself. So sorry.
all right. Can you guys hear me now?
yes.
All right. This whole Zoom thing is new to me. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let me get my screen back up here. All right. So, like I said, we want you to have fun. We want you to be engaged. We want you to ask your questions. Like I said, no question is a dumb question. So, let's just really have a good time today and get a lot of things out, and hopefully we can answer a lot of those towards the end. Obviously, we're on a timeline here, so as we go through this, we'll try to make sure we stay on task and get to a lot of those questions towards the end of the presentation. One final housekeeping thing, bathrooms are on your own, so find your own bathroom. All right. Well, I'm very excited about our panelists today, and I have the pleasure today to introduce them. We have Grand Plaque recipients, and we also have a judge liaison. So our first Grand Plaque, oh, sorry. Am I not sharing my screen here, guys?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I apologize. How about now?
Mhm.
Are we good?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. So our first panelist here today is Mindy Elbert. She is a Class 2 Grand Plaque recipient. She is the Strategic Initiatives Manager for the South Suburban Parks and Recreation out of Littleton, Colorado. Mindy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. Our second and a late entry, very late entry, but we want to give her kudos. She came in at the 11th hour. Shannon Jackson, she's a Class 4 Grand Plaque recipient. She's the park analyst for New Braunfels Parks and Recreation out of New Braunfels, Texas. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Shannon.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And then we've got Benjamin Ray, Class 4, Executive Director, Dickinson Park District, Parks and Recreation, Dickinson, North Dakota. Ben, thank you for joining us today as well.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. And then finally, last but not least, we have Rod Trillo, and he is the judge liaison. So Rod is works with the judges. He has great experience in working with the judges, and he's going to give us some insight. And I believe, rumor has it, Rod, that you are also a Grand Plaque recipient in the past. Is that true?
Twice, actually.
Twice. Nice. So we're excited to have you here too, Rod,
Howdy,
and
howdy,
thank you
everybody.
again.
You bet.
Yeah, this is awesome. So we'll get back to our panel here. We've got a couple other items we wanted to discuss before we get into some of those questions for them. All right, I have the pleasure here now to turn it over to our amazing and incredible executive director of the AAPRA. Jan Adams has an incredible amount of experience and success in our industry, and we're so fortunate as Academy members to have her leadership. So, Jane, you want to take the next couple slides?
Sure. Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone. And again, thank you for joining us to learn more about the Gold Medal Program from people who've sat, who have done the process. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Academy. So the program, the National Gold Medal Award Program, is governed by the American Academy, and we are a separate organization from NRPA and the number of state affiliates that are out there. We work in close partnership with the National Recreation and Park Association, and many of you know that at one point in time, the Gold Medal Program was governed by NRPA, and then over the course of the last 10 years or so, it has shifted over to the Academy. And so we work in partnership with them. They help us in the promotion of the award program, and they also allow us to present the grand plaques at the Wednesday general session. And then finally, this program would not exist, absolutely would not exist without the wonderful corporate support we receive from Musco Lighting. So whenever you have the opportunity to connect with a Musco representative, please thank them. Please thank that sales representative for being supportive of the National Gold Medal Award Program. So next one, Mike. So a little bit about the Academy. As I said earlier, we are a separate organization from the National Recreation and Park Association, but we were founded by former presidents of the National Recreation and Park Association. So we came into existence in the 80s, and that was from a number of, as I said, former presidents who wanted to be more engaged. They wanted to continue their engagement in advancing parks and recreation. So the Academy was formed. Our vision is to inspire, influence, and advance the profession, and certainly the Gold Medal Award Program is an excellent example of our goals to help advance the profession. So we do a number of programs. Some of them are in concert with NRPA, such as the agency accreditation program. We work in partnership with NRPA on that. We also, as I said, the Gold Medal Program. We have a Legends program where we record videos of outstanding individuals in the field of parks recreation, and we make those available on our website. You do not have to be an Academy member to submit a recommendation for the Legends, or certainly to apply for a gold medal. And then we also have another award, which is called the Cornelius Pugsley Medal. And that is a medal we work in concert with the National Park Foundation and Davey Tree. And that is to award individuals for their lifetime achievements in advancing parks and conservation. So if you have someone in your community, perhaps it's a state legislator, perhaps an elected official, but they frankly have pretty much dedicated their public service to advancing parks and conservation, take a look at that information on our website, because you can certainly nominate someone for the Pugsley Medal. And then we also do a lot of programs in advancing young professionals through our extern program and our mentoring program, and you can find out all that information on our website. So typically we do nominate. You have to be nominated to be a member of the Academy, and typically the nominations will open in the spring and close in late summer. So we need to update this slide. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and you can reach us at info@aapra.org. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jane. All right, let's move right along with the gold medal. So as you know, the Gold Medal Award is an opportunity for you to be recognized on a national stage, specifically for your excellence in leadership. This award celebrates public agencies, armed forces, recreation programs worldwide, state park systems, and other special districts who are making an impact. And let's be honest, it's the premier award in our industry. And to be able to obtain, whether that's a finalist, receive the gold medal grand plaque, it is really, really a prestigious opportunity. So a couple other things why to apply. National recognition of your agency work, boost agency reputation and credibility, connection with top professionals and influencers, opening doors for you and your agency, a prestigious accolade to add to your agency's legacy, increase confidence in your agency's capacity and capability, attracting local and national media attention, leading to increased visibility to your customers and partners, and inspiring others. And for me, on a personal note, I really think that the credibility when you're looking at going after grant money, when you're looking at developing partnerships, when you're looking at the opportunity to really tell your story, that gold medal or that finalist recognition really adds credibility to those conversations. So I want to make sure I add that in as well. So applying eligibility, this is open, as Jane had said before, it's open to all public park and recreation agencies and armed forces programs. You don't have to have a membership with any organization. It's not required to apply. And I know there's a lot of talk out there, but you do not have to be CAPRA accredited. So I want to make sure we highlighted that specifically. Finalist award recipients may reapply year to year. And I'm sure on this call, we've got a lot of finalist recipients. I know, like I said before, I did 3 finalist applications and processes until we won the Grand Plaque Award. And then a Grand Plaque Award recipient must wait 5 years to apply again. The application fee, there's no fee required to apply for the Gold Medal Award. All right, Gold Medal Award classes. There's 5 categories based on population. Class 1, 400,001 and over. Class 2, 150,001 to 400,000. Class 3, 75,001 to 150,000. Class 4, 30,001 to 75,000. Class 5, under 30,000. And then we have 2 additional categories, the Armed Forces Recreation Programs. And I want to make sure I'm clear with this, state parks are on odd numbered years. So state parks are not done every year. Application timeline. As you can see here, there's a lot of space in between the application timeline. November 4th, application portal is opened. March 13th, 2026, the applications close. And then applicants are notified of the first round judging. And basically, and I want to highlight this because once you're notified as a finalist, you have over a month, well, just about a month to finalize your video. You can see there that it's not to exceed 5 minutes, but you do have a good amount of time to put that video together. And then September 28th, 2026, we have a finalist gala reception, and that is at the National Recreation and Parks Association Congress. And then Grand Plaque presentations are made on September 30th of 2026. And we've all been at those wonderful presentations. All right, application requirements, online application essay and questions, application period, data for the past 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So you want to make sure that those are the data points that you're using as part of your application. Then a 3-page PDF and a link to your executive summary and the most recent copy of the entirety of your master plan. The other item is a 3-page PDF and link to your executive summary for your most recent agency strategic plan. Links to the applicant websites, recent program brochures, and any additional information as necessary. And remember, if you have questions, please reach out. All right, the judging, and I'm going to lean into you, Rod, a little bit here, but I'll give you a minute to catch your breath. But we'll explain a little bit about what the judging is and the process here. Basically, it's a panel of 5 park and recreational professionals, judges, who are designated, and they review all the application materials. And I was talking to Jane this morning, I kudos to the judges. This is a monumental process. And I know, and knowing some of the judges, I know how seriously they take this and how thorough they are going through that documentation and those applications. Judges are chosen for their considerable experience and knowledge in parks and recreation on both the local and national levels. And then the scores, I know a lot of times people want to understand, well, when do we get our scores? When are the scores going to be out? The scores are available from AAPRA after that that grand plaque presentation. I believe it was the 30th. And we need to give Jane and the rest of the team a little extra time. So it's not right after, not 15 minutes after the meeting is done. Give them a couple weeks, and you can reach out. All right. Rod, is there anything that you wanted to add from a judging perspective, just to give the group some insight?
I think it's important for them to understand that we have a first round, which is judged independently by the 5 judges wherever they are across the country. And through that process, the finalists are determined. And then after those finalists are determined, the agencies are notified and they can begin their putting together their video. The judges then meet in person together in the summertime. And after the finalists have been determined, the judges can go in and look at their applications more in depth, their websites, the other information that is required as a part of their submittal. And so after being able to review all of that, looking at the videos together, then the determination is made on who the grant award recipients are. And so it's a semi-complex process, but it's for us, it's really important that we are just above reproach in regards to making sure that it's a very upright and a good process. The judges have to sign a form that they acknowledge if they have any interest in any of the agencies and can abstain if that's the case. And so it's a pretty thorough process.
Yeah. And we, again, thank those judges for all their extra work. The QR code that we have here will link you right to the website, the questions, the applications. I must reiterate or mention that this presentation will be available. So if you want record of that, we can make sure that that's available for you. But you can click on that QR code and you can go right to that site for those applications. All right, now the really exciting part starts. We are actually going to test and question our 2024 Grand Plaque recipients. So I hope you are all ready for your questions. Don't worry, I'm going in order. And you can always say pass if you don't want to answer. All right, so reaching for the gold, a panel's perspective. Let's dive right into those questions. All right, so we're going to start out with Mindy. Mindy, what motivated you to apply for the gold medal, and what did it mean for you and your agency and community?
Yeah, so we went through a master and strategic planning process. And one of our guiding principles is quality first. And that was to increase visibility as leaders in parks and recreation. So that was our motivation. Our board put that as our goal for the year. And it meant a lot to us for our community because we ask a lot of them. We ask for their support and taxes and just to be customers of us, definitely their trust. And so it is something for them to be proud in, but also to see that we're being held accountable, much like accreditation, but in a different way, that we're showing that we're working really hard to provide for them.
Yeah. Sounds like you also had a lot of buy-in from the start. Sounds like your board was on board. Sounds like your team, members of your community. That's great to hear.
We did. We have won it in the past, but it had been a number of years ago. So this board really wanted to see it in the current set date.
That's great. It's nice to have that support.
Mhm.
Any of the other panelists want to chime in on this one? Any other insight? All right, we'll move on to the next question. This one is for you, Shannon. Sorry, bear with me here. How did you assemble your team to work on the application?
So what we did is we brought it up with a kind of core group of our managers, so representing all parts of our department, recreation, park development, our park rangers, our park operations. We wanted to make sure everyone was involved in it. And then we also looked to the broader group of employees working throughout the city as well. As we work closely with our transportation and capital improvements groups. We're a big river tourism city here, so we work closely with the river and watershed. And then our communications team as well. So we kind of pulled people that we work closely with and created our group from that. And they were all obviously really, excited to help us apply for this because it would, reflect well on the entire city.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any other panelists want to chime in? I will tell you, when we went through the process, we tried to assemble not only the whole team, power in numbers, and it takes a village or a city, right? But finding people that we knew were great writers or really had a great knowledge on our environmental stewardship, or those that led our social equity, or were extremely engaged in our partnerships or community involvement. So getting those strengths together really seemed to help us put ourselves over that edge or distance ourselves in getting that opportunity. So thank you very much, Shannon. All right. Benjamin, how did you manage the compilation and composition of information to answer the questions?
Yeah, thank you. We kind of approached this well in advance of when we were looking to apply for the gold medal. We had been a finalist one year, and we had opted to take a year off before reapplying. And I think after becoming a finalist, we sat down with each of the questions and tried to think about what we were wanting to accomplish in the next couple of years as an organization. And we used that as a framework for what we really wanted to highlight when we applied the next time. And so I think that kind of set the tone as we worked on each of those projects, looking towards our application upcoming. And then we assigned each of our members of our committee a different area to put the written narrative together for each question. Once those were all completed, I sat down with our administrative manager and just to ensure that the way that they worded things had a similar voice throughout the entire thing, and to make sure that it was hitting on the areas that we really wanted to highlight as part of the initiatives that we had been working on or the projects that we had done. And then once we had gone through that, we let everybody kind of fine tune anything that they felt like we needed to look at. And then we were ready to go.
That's great. Were you leveraging anything from, say, the NRPA website about some of the initiatives they were putting together, or some of the things that might have been going on in the nation, or trends in our industry, to make sure those things were included in your communications?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the questions that are included in the application really hit on a lot of those areas, both a lot of the NRPA initiatives and national trends. I think one of the things that was important for us was inclusivity across our community. That was probably an area that traditionally we had not done very well. And a lot as a small entity, it was resource driven. But I think through this process, we were able to leverage some of the resources in the broader community to provide better resources in those areas. And I think that that lended itself to a more complete application for us.
That's great. Thank you. That's some wonderful insight. Any of the other panelists have any other feedback or insight that they'd like to share on this question? All right, we'll move right along here.
So Mike, Mike, I want to
yeah.
interrupt you for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
We are tracking the questions that are being asked. If it's a
Okay.
pretty quick reply where Stacy is responding to those, but I think at the end, I've been tracking them and we can go over some of those questions. And obviously, Rod, a lot of them are around judging. So we'll be talking to you soon. So thank you, Mike, for letting me interrupt you.
No, thank you. Great insight, Jane. Thank you. Rod, not to leave you out of the group, and since you are a two-time Grand Plaque recipient, did any of you apply more than, I guess this is really to the full group, but I'll start with you, Rod. Did any of you apply more than once, and what might have made the difference in your successful submission? Rod, you want to start maybe?
You bet. Thank you. Yes, in the 2 times we won, they were actually in 2 different agencies, and we were finalists, I think, 2 other times at one agency and I think 2 other times at the second agency. I would really be interested in what the other panelists say, but I would tell you that one of the things that can make a difference in a successful submission is that we have different judges every year. And so as you apply one year, you've got a set of 5 individuals looking at it. And then if you apply the next year, that is a different mix. We always have at least 1 and sometimes 2 different judges on the panel. So they may review things a little differently and have a different take or focus. So that's one piece. The other piece is that you never know who's going to apply what year. And so you could be competing against some of the same agencies or new agencies that are applying in a different program cycle. And so by having different people you're competing against and different people judging you, that is one element or double element that can make the difference in a successful submission versus one where maybe you don't make finalist or you don't receive the grand award. So that's one piece, and then I'll turn it back to the other panelists who probably have their own insights.
Yeah, and before I turn it or open the floor, I think you keyed on something very important that I think is sometimes maybe overlooked or not, but the judges are changing over every year, so you're getting different feedback, you're getting different insights. And so that's really important to remember. Any other panelists have some?
Mindy's
feedback?
raised her hand, Mike.
Okay, go ahead, Mindy. Thank you.
Yeah, so when we won the Grand Plaque, that was our 3rd year. The second one, we were a finalist. The biggest difference that we think, we wrote it and then we let it breathe. We came back to it at a later time, and I think we became our harshest critics. We started going through every single question and going, so what? Looking to see if we got a little too fluffy, if we were giving good statistics, and were those the best examples for that question? I think we did more rearranging, taking what we thought we were going to originally use for one question and completely moving it to a different question that 3rd year.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I love the idea of letting it breathe. Sometimes you can just press too hard, right? It's like pushing tin. Step away. That's a great feedback. Thank you. Any other panelists, insight on that question? Yes, Ben.
I'll just say that, for us, while we tried to look into the future as to what those questions might be and what we're doing, I think it's important to be authentic to who you are as an organization and what it is that you do well. We weren't trying to change who we are to adapt to the questions. The idea is to be able to use the questions to just be able to express what you're already doing well. So make sure, I would say for us, that's the one thing we really tried to emphasize is just be who we are and demonstrate that through the way we answer the questions.
Yeah, that's great. Absolutely. Anybody else? All right, let's move on to the next question.
I can add in just one.
Oh yeah,
one
go ahead,
little
Shannon.
bit, Michael.
Yeah.
With ours, we were finalists 3 times before receiving the grand plaque. Some differences we had, obviously, their staff changing who are actually working on the applications. And in this last application, we did have a new staff member come in as a park development manager. Just come in with fresh eyes and being able to, see the department, see the application, and kind of see some things that we had missed, just that we were, we were in the weeds with it. It's not something that we were looking to highlight. But then also taking a deeper dive and look at our questions and see how are we responding to them? Was it something that it gave the feeling that our community was really behind those answers, or was it just something we were stating, about our department? So we really wanted to reflect what we were doing with any data or anything that we put in there. What did that mean for the community, and what did that bring to them? And I think that really made a difference in ours.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the things that I heard there, my mother is a longtime commissioner, elected official in Illinois. We have special districts, and when we did ours, I let her look at it. I said, look at this as a resident outside of the community that I serve. Look at this as a elected official, and we all have a great network. And maybe it's just asking a friend, hey, you're in the industry, but you're not entrenched in our operations. What does this look like? How does this sound? Does this make sense? That's great. Thank you, Shannon. Anybody else? All right, moving right along here. Okay, Mindy, were there any questions where you made significant changes to improve your score?
I can't recall the specific question, but where we made changes as we started reviewing it was that the examples didn't need to be the biggest project or the biggest program. We had to go back and make changes and look at what was the most important to our community. Was it a program that didn't exist and now there's 10 kids? Or something for adults that went from 10 to 20, and that was a positive trajectory. And so I think that's something like really important to think about it. It shouldn't, and ARPA puts on a lot of information about that it shouldn't be your newest, shiniest build or something like that. But I think when you initially start it, that's where your mind goes. And then you start
Right.
digging in more and making those changes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sometimes I hear when I'm out presenting finalist plaques or grand plaques, everybody says, well, we haven't built anything. We haven't done anything huge and new. Well, like you said, how about a deeper dive and look at what you're doing really, really well and the impact that you're making in your community. And maybe that's something that you are doing that no other organization is doing, So that's a great point. Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.
Any other panelists have some insight on this? No? All right, we're moving right along. Okay, Shannon, how did you approach making your video?
So we've, like I said, being a panelist, or not panelist, being a finalist 3 times before, we had gone through a couple different versions of our video. Um, and I think something that we were trying to then portray and how we approached it this last time is we really wanted the community to be a part of the video. So we had, we made sure we had our Park Foundation president be able to give her input. Our mayor was able to speak on that. We had parents of kids that were in our summer camp, speak about how much the camp had affected their children with their development and just, having them in a social setting. So we really wanted to have it come from the community, while also, providing information about the city, but it's more about who we're trying to do this for, and showcasing those in the New Braunfels community, and not trying to stick with, what we do for the millions of tourists that come through, trying to really portray that we're here for those community members and the people that are here 365 days a year, not just one day and leaving.
Yeah, and the foundation, that's a really neat component too. Are you the one
Yes.
that did the donuts on the screen? Is that you?
No, that is not us, but those are
You,
very cute.
yes, I didn't know if you sent those to the judges. So, no, just kidding. It's a little light humor. All right. Any other panelists have some thoughts on this? Okay, let's
I do.
oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
No
Yes,
worries.
Mindy.
So we're kind of opposite of Shannon's experience. Our second year, actually, even well, no, so our first year we weren't a finalist. Our first year we were finalists. We went informational, formal. We had city officials in it. And I can tell you, after we submitted that, we were very unhappy with ourselves. That is not customary for our organization, how we would do any sorts of videos. So and like literally as we submitted that one the second year, we had already designed the next year, just in case we went through the process again. And that time around, we poked fun at ourselves for being formal and decided to be more goofy with it. And I've shared this before, but we butt heads with our executive director on whether that was the way to go. But I mean, we held strong that that was who we are. So, whether or not that, I know Rod has said that he's seen it all, but for us, we felt better with it. We really liked that video.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, making those videos fun. We are in the business of fun, right? And not getting too serious, I think is important too, but yet still telling your story and showing the credibility. Absolutely. Thank you. Any other thoughts from the panelists? Okay. All
Ben's
right.
raised his hand. Ben's raised his hand, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. Yes, please go ahead.
I really like what was said on that, and this was the most stressful part for our staff. You only have 30 days of time to put this together, so I think you really have to plan well in advance, especially what footage do you want to collect, images do you want to collect, so that I think scripting it out well ahead of time. I think it's always best to assume when you apply that you're going to be a finalist. And the video has so much more play across your community than just what you did for your application. So
Right.
I'm always of the approach, let's be optimistic. You're all worthy of that. So let's go out with that kind of approach that you're going to be a finalist and we're going to need to do this.
Yeah. And you brought up a great point. I know when we went through that process, the video itself, I know there's a lot of people that I've spoken with about, the intensity and kind of the stress level or whatever. But I also, when we went through our process, I looked at it as not only for the gold medal, but we're always trying to tell our story in our community, right? And what a great vehicle to be able to put out there, whether you're a finalist, whether you're the Grand Plaque recipient. I'm sure all of you have used that video thousands of times, in the rest of your social media initiatives or your websites. So, it can be a great tool above and beyond this process. Thank you, Ben. All right. Ben, you're back on the hot seat here. All right. What is your one piece of advice you want to share with the audience or a colleague who is considering applying for the gold medal?
Yeah, thank you. I think that I alluded to this before, but be authentic to who you are, what you are as an organization, and everybody's going to be different, and that's okay. For us as a small entity, I'll just say we didn't go out and pay thousands of dollars for a master plan or to go through any of these other things. We didn't hire somebody to make our video for us. Those are things that we struggled through internally in-house that made sense for our community. And I think that's okay. We all have great things that we do, and this is just an opportunity for us to be able to share those things. And I think for us, it also helped to clarify what our vision was of what we want to provide as an impact to our community.
Yeah, that's great. That's great insight. Any other panelists, thoughts?
I'll add one.
Yeah. Thanks, Mandy.
So I mean, I feel like a teacher when I say this, but don't wait at all to work on this. So with the application opening in November and that being such a busy time for us all and very heavy in reports, our inclination is to wait till the first of the year. And that's kind of when we just start putting together even what our plan's going to be. I fully support starting as early as possible. There's, maybe 2-3 weeks here in December, or if you do have to wait for the 1st of January to have a plan and start the 1st of January. Again, like Ben said, that this is not a reason to be stressed or an addition to your job. It really is an opportunity to be proud of your organization and taking the time and again, letting it breathe and going back and seeing if you're really happy with what you're producing as your application. And then also giving it time, like Ben said, to come up with what your video is going to look like, not in 30 days when you find out you have to provide one, but what it's going to look like, anticipating if you're going to provide one. So again, just more time, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I agree with you. I think being proud of our organizations, we have such an incredible group of professionals that are doing incredible things all across the nation, the world, the armed forces, the state parks. And it's a great opportunity to tell our story and then validate that story, right? So that when we go out and we try to get, acquire open space or we try to get grant money, it's such a great tool. I can't tell you how many opportunities we got after getting that finalist or the Grand Plaque award. So thank you. Any other insight with advice from the panelists? Okay. Rod, I'm going to ask you this one. How did you announce your successful win and then celebrate?
Well, I'm really old, and so we use Pony Express to get the word
Nice.
from
Keep it clean, Rod. Keep it
back.
clean.
And then the second time we graduated to Telegraph to get the word back. I think I defer. I've seen through the years some really creative ways to announce and to celebrate. I think I'd really defer to our other panelists that
Sure.
have won recently.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Very much so. All right, other panelists, I'm going to put you on the spot. How did you celebrate?
Mhm.
Who we got?
I'll go first.
All right. Thank you, Shannon.
So we actually had one of the judges for that for the 2024 application join us at a city council meeting to present the gold medal plaque to us. I believe we actually had someone from Musco join as well. So we were able to, have them join and celebrate with that. We definitely threw a party for our staff. We had a pizza party. Just to
Nice.
really thank everyone. We showed the video. We kind of talked about what this means, that it's really the entire staff that is winning this award. It's not just the 5 or so people that are, doing the application and working on it. It's really meant for the entire department, and the rest of the city as well. The rest of the other stakeholders from different departments were all invited. And then we kind of kept it going. We have, during Parks and Recreation Month this year in July, we had a couple events going on that we had some cups made to be used for like food trucks and snow cone things that had our city logo, that had our foundation logo on it, but then also had the gold medal logo on there to kind of keep that going. And then currently our grand plaque is on display at City Hall right now. We are the largest display in the case from all of the departments on their awards this past year. So
That's awesome.
keeping it going
Super
for
cool.
a little while longer.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Anybody else? Mindy, Ben?
Yeah, I'll go next. So we initially did have a little party. Those are our bottles on the picture there. We had a party for as many staff that could come, and our executive director and our board of directors were able to make that. And there were little treats and balloons. And after that point, we toured around our banner from facility to facility so that every single staff member could actually take a group picture with it, and the individual thanks could be given.
That's super cool. Ben?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that as a district, we wanted to make sure that we also included our city commission, county commission, school district leaders in our celebration, because it really is a community-wide thing, and everybody takes a part in what we do. The university here locally, and then the day of, I think the donuts was something that we did. And then we actually had little replicas of the little gold medal plaque, 2-inch medals made for each of our full-time employees and our board members, just so that they could have something to kind of take away with them.
That's super cool. Yeah,
So-
go ahead, Jane, please.
I was going to say, as if an agency receives the finalist plaque, Musco, our corporate sponsor, we prepare banners that are sent to every finalist agency, and we encourage you to, promote them in your community and in one of your parks, or perhaps on your community center, or wherever you feel most visibility for you. And then we also then prepare a second banner for those grand plaque recipients. So I've seen pictures of agencies keeping those banners up for quite a while. So that's another recognition that the program provides to you to help celebrate your achievement.
I know when we did it, we also ordered extra plaques and put them up in all of our facilities across our community. So right front and center when people walked in and told the whole story of the grand plaque. So that was pretty exciting.
Right.
All right. Any other feedback with celebrations? All right. Panelists, you get a little break here. I will call it the quiet before the storm when we get all the questions from Jane and Stacy, but I'm going to turn it back over to Jane, and she's going to talk through a couple of new things that are going on with the gold medal.
Thanks, Mike. So one of the things we are introducing this year is we are calling our National Gold Medal Ambassador Network, and it is comprised of grand plaque recipients because they cannot reapply for 5 years. So they have a lot of history, they have a lot of insights, which you've heard about today. So we want to capture those. So we have gone back out and asked grand plaque recipients from 23, 24, and 25 if they would be willing to serve as an element of our ambassador program. And we've got some responses, which we're going to share on the next slide. But you can contact them. We are providing you the agency name, agency contact, their phone number and email, and you can talk to them directly about their experience, and they would be able to share, kind of how they did it. So Mike, if you can go back to the next slide. So here are the gold medal ambassadors we have to date. So in class 1, which is our largest population class, we have Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board has agreed to be an ambassador. Then we have South Suburban. So thank you, Shannon, for being a part of our ambassador network. Arlington County Parks and Recreation out of Virginia has agreed to be an ambassador. Then in class 4, this was a 2025 recipient, is the Park District of Oak Park, has agreed to be available to help agencies with their gold medal application. And then we have Dickinson Parks and Recreation in North Dakota has agreed to also serve as an ambassador. And then we have one of our armed forces Grand Plaque recipients, U.S. Army out of Fort Carson, Colorado, has agreed to help or to be, to provide information. So feel free. And like I said, these names and emails and phone numbers are going to be posted on the Academy website within just a few days. And you can reach out to them with any questions. We get a lot of one of the questions we asked today, do we share the applications? And the Academy does not, but there is nothing to preclude you from reaching out to an agency who has been a finalist or Grand Plaque recipient and say, hey, can you share your application with me? And we have found out over the years that our community, our park and recreation community, is very willing to share. So we encourage you to do that, to do that on your own. So
Great.
that's our new
Thank you,
ambassador
Jane.
program. So we hope we're going to grow the network. We're going to keep reaching out to these Grand Plaque recipients and asking them to be a part of it. And we hope that you will find this helpful to you in your preparing your application.
Great. Thank you, Jane. And that comes to the end of our presentation. And I know I saw Jane and Stacy's head vigorously writing down questions and monitoring the chat board. So Jane, Stacy, did you guys want to bring up some questions that people might have left?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the first one. There's a lot of questions in here about how is the video scored and what should be included in the video. So Rod, I'll toss that one to you and you can give a little bit of the judge's perspective on that.
The videos don't actually get a specific score, but they're looked at sometimes multiple times by the judges collectively together. And what I think is really important is that the video tells your story, and that sometimes aligns very closely with the application. Sometimes it wanders from there just a little bit. I think another piece that's really important is that the intent of the program for this video is to help the judges see your agency, but also to help you be able to share it with your community, that it's not a just submit it for the award. It's really use it for your community and for marketing and for recognition and all of those kinds of things. And so don't get too wrapped up in trying to have it be just exactly word by word for your application. You need to be able to have it show the judges who you are, what your story is, but it also needs to be able to be used in other ways in your communities.
Rod, just a little follow-up to that. What about the website? How is the website scored?
The websites are not scored, and the judges typically spend more time on them in the finalist area than the initial review, the first round, but they are not specifically scored. And some agencies have a lot of control over their websites and others do not based on that. And so the judges keep that in mind also as they look there.
I think if I could add something there, Stacy, the judges look at the website to kind of see does your website reflect what you tell us in the application? Certainly not word for word, but if you really tout something in your application, is that program or is that facility or is that partnership or whatever, is that shown on your website as well?
Great. Okay. Next question is about the master plan and the strategic plan. The first part of that would be, do you need both a master plan and a strategic plan? Rod, that might be a question for you again.
I haven't specifically seen how the application came out this year, but we have typically asked for both a master plan and a strategic plan. through a link so that the judges can see it, but then also the summary, the 3-page or less summary of those.
Yeah.
And what if an agency does not have a master plan or a strategic plan?
Jane,
So,
do you want?
yeah, I will. So, again, so what the submittable platform asks for is that 3-page summary of your master plan and strategic plan, and that as well as a link to the full document that you probably have on your website, right? That is available to the public to see, because those are both really critical documents. And because this award is around your management excellence, it's around management excellence. And so if you do not have one of the other documents, and you just can't upload it. So those documents are not scored. What they are used for, again, by the judges is to see, are you doing what you say you're doing, right? It's kind of verification of that.
Great, thanks. And just a clarification, Benjamin, I think when you were speaking earlier, you talked about that you didn't pay to have a master plan done for this award, right? But y'all did a master plan in-house, is that correct?
That is correct. We've just done those in-house, our master plan and our strategic plan. We didn't pay an outside agency to help us prepare that. And, again, as a small entity, that's what our board was comfortable with. And we just actually updated our master plan again this year. And we did that all in-house again. And I think we're better this time. But certainly, again, being true to who we are as an organization.
Great.
And that is totally acceptable. The master plan, the strategic plan does not have to be done by a consulting company. It can be totally in-house. It can be, but the fact is that you have one, right? You know where you're going and you know how, and we know what you're planning to do. So that's what this is about.
And Ben, that is on your website, correct?
What's that? What's on the website?
It is.
It is
Yes.
for
Yep.
people if they wanted to take a look at what you did, just to
Absolutely.
get an
And
idea.
the new one
Right.
will be on there as of next Monday, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah. There was also, Stacy, a question around the populations, and how often do we analyze the population categories? And so we do take a look at those, not on a regular, not every 5 years, but it's likely an opportunity to do so. We are seeing an increase in the number of Class 1 agencies apply for the award. And so we think that is a recognition of the value that agencies are now seeing in the applying for and receiving a National Gold Medal Award. So, one of the categories that we would like to see more applications for is Class 5, which is under 30,000. And the classifications are really critical because we do know that there are massive differences between an agency that's, serving 1 million people and an agency that's serving 30,000. That's why we have the population classes. And I think, so I think it was mentioned that the website is not scored, but again, the website is used as an opportunity to for the judges to say, are you doing what you say you're doing? So it's a good opportunity to go in and take a look at your website content as well as part of this application. Did we miss one question? If we missed your question, Mike, I think we got a minute. We can have people just shout out their question if they want to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Questions from the whole group.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that there's just kind of we're trying to understand, and Jordan and I think are on the same page. So once the 4 finalists are scored, is that already determined as the final? I mean, are they reviewed by the judges again, rescored again? Because it sounds like it's just they're scored, and then the video doesn't have an impact on the scoring. So just trying to understand that final process of how, once the final people are picked, do the judges go back and then they reevaluate again? Do you group 1 to 4, or just is it already done in April when the scores are done?
So one of the things I have noticed, and Rod, feel free to add on to this or to correct me if I'm not understanding how the judges process. But the judges scores, every judge sees how everyone else scored an application, but it's blind. So it doesn't say this is how Jane scored, this is how Rod scored. It's Judge A, B, C, D, E, right? So there's 5 judges. And interestingly enough, there is rarely a wide variance in the numeric scores to the essay questions. All the judges, and if they do see a variance, they talk about that. Well, what did you see that I didn't see, right? And that is particularly true when we're at that finalist level, when there are just 4 agencies. And the judges all review, they're told who are the finalists for. They go back in and they take a look at those applications again to make sure that that's who they think are the best in that particular category. And then when we meet as a group in person, they talk about the top 4 finalist applications as well. And then they look at the video in relationship to the application. So Rod, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, that was great, Jane. The one thing I'd say is the judges don't know what the scores are when the finalists are announced. They've done their individual scoring, but they haven't really seen the compilation of all of them collectively. And they don't generally know that information when they get together for their second round of judgment. And so they'll look at the videos and then they have brought, as Jane said, their own personal research with the websites and the master plans and all of those things that they've spent more time on since the finalists have been announced. And they will discuss and debate, and then eventually those scores are shared, but it's usually after a decision's been made. At least, every year is just a little bit different. We have a head judge change every year. And there isn't a prescribed exact method, but in general terms, it's really close to what Jane described.
I think the other important part is that the judges represent different size communities. We don't have not all of our judges are from, large class 1 populations. So we always strive for a range, make sure our judges represent the population categories as well as armed forces. We also make certain that we have a geographic representation. So we don't have all of our judges are not from the greater Chicagoland area. We also make sure that the judges serve a variety of communities. Some may be with a parks district, some may be from a county, some may be from a city. So these are all the different criteria that we use to find the best individuals that we can to serve as a judge in this program. And the judges take this role very, very seriously. They're very, very serious about their responsibilities. I don't know, Scott, did that help you?
Yeah, that clarified a lot for me. Hopefully it helped other people. That definitely answered what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great, because if it doesn't, you can always email us. And at the bottom of this screen is our link to our website. On the Academy, we do have a separate gold medal page. And then you can also email us. I think it's goldmedal@aapra.org. So don't hesitate to reach out with any of your questions.
Any other questions, Jane or Stacy? Otherwise, I will give some final closing remarks here.
I'll just one more question. Well, actually, a topic that there were several questions centered on was the data. Does it make a difference in how you collect the data, and how important is the data to your application?
Rod, do you want to take that, or you want me to?
I'll take a little stab at it. I think the data is really important because we're looking for the best of the best, and data is a way that can help tell your story. It can justify resources. There's a lot of benefit that comes from collecting and then being able to use the data that you've collected. And so I think that that really comes into play in the first round of judging. And I think that the judges all have their own individual perspectives on how much weight they put in that regards. But in general terms, Data is important and helpful, especially if you know how to use it to tell your story and to make your point, make your case.
Great. Anything else for the greater of the group? I will make one quick statement here. I want to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. And I will close with this. I worked for a gentleman some of you may know. His name is Michael Jordan. He played a sport here in Chicago, worked for him for 4 years. And he said, I always missed a shot I never took. So take a shot, apply, reach out, when in doubt, call. Let us help you through the process. But we want to say thank you for coming to this webinar today, and just look forward to seeing a lot of applications.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to our panelists.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you, everybody.
Thank you, Ben and Shannon and Mindy.
Absolutely.